Hello, welcome to Vintage Toy Rush. It's Dave in the collection room, and today's episode is going to be slightly different. I'm recording this on what would have been my dad's birthday, but sadly 2 years ago he lost his battle against cancer. And while I've been reflecting on all the good times, it reminded me that there are a couple of items in the collection that have real sentimental value, primarily because they remind me so much of my dad. So I'd like to show you one of those today, and what I want to show you is my dad's favourite Action Man uniform, and it is this one. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Now, I'm not exactly sure why this was my dad's favourite uniform. My dad travelled the world for his job. He was a marine engineer, so he would design and build the bridges for the largest ocean liners in the world and install all the navigation equipment like radar. He'd also work on luxurious yachts owned by the rich in Saudi Arabia. So he travelled all over the place, and I'm sure he probably went to Canada at some point and saw the mounted police there. He also had a liking for militaria as well and really enjoyed his World War II films. So I suspect all of that background led him to really like this uniform, and you can see why it's quite striking. Let's find out a little bit more about this outfit. I've got here the Alan Hall Action Man Collector's Guide. This is a really good guide, comes in 3 volumes. So let's just see if we can find out what's going on with this Canadian Mountie. Just flip through here, see what we've got. Here we go. So we can see in the guide, gives you a picture of the uniform, tells you about it. So let's just see. So yeah, this figure wasn't actually available to buy initially. You got it through the star scheme. So here it says, the Action Man star scheme was introduced almost as soon as Palitoy began production and ran right through to the end. It was hugely successful based on the simple concept of collecting stars which were attached to Action Man packaging. Now, if you remember back to my Rom the Space Knight video, I showed the box there, and on the side were 10 stars. So I'll put a photo of that so you can see what that looks like. And with those stars back then, you could get all sorts of interesting items. So, for example, you could get an undressed Action Man. I think it was for, just looking up here, 21 stars. The Mountie uniform you could get if you collected 18 stars and sent away also 10 pence. I guess that was for the postage. You also could get a guard dog, which often you see with the Mountie uniform. And also you could get an Action Man tie and an Action Man record. They would have been interesting items to add to the collection. And also a sentry box, so you often see that as well with the Canadian Mountie and Brutus the guard dog. So just looking back in the book here, you can see this is the box that the mail-away uniform would have arrived in. And it just so happens that we have one of those boxes here. Unfortunately, I don't have the Palitoy label on it. It's a shame, but it's okay. So if we just open this box, we can see inside that you got a leaflet here that gives you history of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. This is what I loved about Action Man back in the day. They did try to educate you a little bit as well on each of the uniforms. I know they did that for the Soldiers of the Century. So I don't actually know very much about the Mounted Police, so let's just see what we can get from this leaflet. So it says here, the Northwest Mounted Police were formed in 1873 to police the rebellion-torn Northwest Territories. After a distinguished service in 2 world wars, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police today represents one of the world's most efficient police organisations. So that's pretty cool. So you got this leaflet as part of that mail-away box. And of course, in the box, you also got the uniform. So you've got the tunic and the trousers, and all of the other accessories as well that go with the uniform, which we'll take a closer look at on the figure shortly. Here we can see we've got the hat here with the belt. That belt's often missing. We have the striking red tunic with all the detail on there. And then we have the riding breeches and jack boots. So here we have the belt and a cross belt, which holds the holster and revolver. And then there's also a lanyard that attaches to the revolver. And I have my lanyard set out like this because I actually bought one of these for my dad with Brutus, and I'm hoping to get a photo of it in his cabinet at my mum's. So hopefully I can show you that later. But he set his up like this, so I just followed what he's done. As well as being able to get this uniform through the mail-away star scheme, you could also eventually get this on card as well. The card looks striking. I've never actually seen it in real life. I hope one day I'll see it. Maybe when I'm wandering around one of the toy fairs, it will appear in front of my eyes. And I'm sure at that moment, a lot of memories are going to come flooding back. Just a short video today. I really wanted to show off my dad's favourite Action Man uniform. As you can see from the collection room, it's still a work in progress. If my dad was here today, he'd definitely be saying, pull your finger out, don't be so lazy. So I must adhere to those words. And I will put out some new vlog videos showing the progression of the room to its completion. I've got my dad's trusty old ladders here. Many jobs have been done on these over the years. And so I really want to finish off the job here and get it done as soon as possible. As always, all I have left to say is stay safe, and until next time, cheers.